Hello from Farland. It's been quite a while since we've actually talked, or it seems so to me. Time moves quickly in Farland. So there was the big saw incident, which was just me having a little fun. I hope it didn't upset anybody. And then there was the bridge, when I showed you the new bridge. I guess there aren't any crickets in the UK. Surely there must be frogs. Anyway, the sound clip was from Brazil. You know, this is an international railway, so we have Brazilian crickets come in and, you know, sing a little bit for us now and then. Well, I'm going to show you, I'm going to move the camera down here first. There's the bridge, and you can see this painted section. That is the new area. It's about 11 square feet that I've added. What I did was I split it. I split the table, moved it out, reframed it, and filled it in with some new plywood. And here's a couple highlights from that. Relying on these legs here that are on the other side. The mountain is right up above me, but it's not as heavy as you might think. Got a string tied across there. I think that's where the break is going to occur. So I've got to prepare all the scenery. I think there are 3 screws left holding this thing together. The third and last one. There. Okay, well, it should be free now. Let's see what happens. Let me get one of my tools going here. Oh yeah. Can you see that? And the earth opened up. Split clean all the way through. Which brings me to the experience I had with the water feature over there. The water feature. I started out, there's an island right here, I don't know if you can see that. Well, it's not a total island, it's more like a peninsula, because it is connected to the land over there. First thing I tried to do, I tried to use the new shaper sheet from Woodland Scenics, and that probably would have worked fine, but it was, I framed it too low. And I didn't want steep sides around the pond. I wanted it fairly shallow. So I got that all in the way I wanted it. I even plastered it up, and then I realized that that was not going to work. So I ripped it all out. So that was the first mistake I made. Second time around, I reframed it till it was higher. I had the pan that was quite a bit higher, like it is now. And I put a plastic, like a kitchen bag, plastic bag, underneath it. So there was a plastic membrane all the way around underneath it. Well, you'd think that was a good idea. I used the easy water, and I heated it up as hot as I could get it. And I whipped down here with a pan full of it, and I started pouring it in. Of course, the bridge wasn't in there. Most of the scenery wasn't in there. Started pouring it in. Well, what happened was it melted the plastic. So it was pouring out all over the floor. Not real good. I wouldn't recommend it. Plastic melts when it comes in contact with hot, easy water. So that didn't work. I had to rip that out. Actually, I saved a little bit of it over on that side. That stuff really shatters when you break it out, though. It was all over the floor. It was a total mess. All my fault. So the next time around, I read the directions. So on attempt 3, first of all, I decided I did not want any hot materials around here anymore. I'd had it with the easy water. And so I studied and discovered there was realistic water, which just dries on itself. No catalyst, no nothing. So I built a new pond interior and got it painted the way I wanted it. And I realized, or I found out, that there was something called flex paste. And with flex paste, you paint it on and it seals it. Not sure, I think it might even work with easy water, but I'm not real sure about that. But anyway, it seals it up so you don't have to worry about leaking. Then you could pour in your realistic water 1/8 inch deep at a time. And it doesn't say so, but I've got 4 layers of realistic water in my pond here, and it seems to be working fine. I just put an 1/8 of an inch in, let that set up, add another 1/8 of an inch, let that set up. Seemed to work pretty good. So then that brings us to the bridge. The bridge was a kit, Mike's Train House, HO Trains, which is okay. That's the track size. It was alright, but it was a single track bridge. I wanted a double track bridge. So I built, out of wood, a new base or roadway. And it's out of very, very thin material. Extremely thin. Well, it doesn't sound like it because it's framed in. It's box framed in into about 1 inch squares, 30 millimeter squares, all boxed in and glued, so it turned out to be more solid than I expected. I actually wanted it to make a different sound as it came over the bridge. And it does make a sweet sound. But this had to be changed, and the only thing I was able to really use are the 2 side pieces and these little walkways down there. Smells pretty nice. The bridge was a success, and the water was a total disaster. I mean, until now, because the water now, and this is almost set up, the water now is really quite nice. It's muddy up on this end, and it's a little clearer down here, but it's dark in the bottom. Well, anyway, moving on. So I'm going to build a little farm over here. That should be fun. Looking forward to it. Well, let's talk about the big picture now. I decided to make a visual aid. Right over there someplace is the original 4x8 sheet of plywood that started this whole thing. I added from there, I added this hill. It's behind the post, which used to be red. Now it's painted blue and black underneath. So I added that, and I also added a little down here. Then I added a little over here. At that point, I had an L-shaped layout that went from there over to that hill. That was all fine until I decided, hey, how about a mountain and a tunnel? That's when I added this. So then I had this all the way back and around over to there. However, there were problems. And the next thing I did was add Shell Hill. Then there were the big curves. You don't need a visual aid to see that. And you know there's two of them. There's one here and then there's one over there that turns back towards over there. And in that process I actually added a piece right in here. So now I've added 2 feet here. I've run out of room. I'm going to have to be pretty imaginative if I add anything else. But I did come up with one idea. See what you think about this. I'm going to have to move the camera. Because I've discovered I like shunting, I added a piece to the edge here. This used to be the edge of the board right there. And I've added on so that I can add these 2 tracks and permanently keep the sleepers over here, although I have to shunt them out onto the main line. I have to break it in half and shunt 2 parts, maybe even 3 parts. Right now I have an entire passenger train sitting there, which I really didn't have a place to store a passenger train over here before. You couldn't get one in. There just wasn't room for it. But there is now. So now I'm struggling with this. I could put something like this along the edge, kind of make it an embankment arrangement. Or I could put a wall down along here, which would allow me to have some grass in there and whatnot. I'm not sure what I want to do. What do you think? I know this is really too close to the edge, and I probably need to add another 2-inch strip along there. Increase the width to put scenery on that, and I might do that, I don't know. Well, this was a major effort, getting all this hooked up. Got to tell on myself again. I had this all put together, boy, I thought I was slick. I had everything connected up and everything, and I turned it on and short. Tried it again, short. Switched some switches around, short. Well, what it was is, in my haste to put everything together, I was using Electro Frog turnouts, and I had neglected to put the insulators in. If you're not familiar with Electro Frog points, there's one with the insulators in. The insulators go here and here, and they separate the point from the track because the point keeps changing polarity depending on the position of the blades. Here are the insulators because this point changes polarity. When the blades are this way, so that the train can go that way, then the point has the polarity of this rail. When you change the blades to the other side, then the point has the polarity of this side of the rail. Blade this way, polarity of this is this way. Polarity over here, blade's this way, so it can go straight. Polarity of the point is this rail. Anyway, if it confuses you, it confuses a lot of people. Short story, forgot all the insulators. So nothing worked. I got the insulators in, everything worked great. Bye from Farland.